You, your family, your friends, neighbors are losing money every single month because you're believing some type of myths you've seen out there given by politicians. Yes, politicians perpetuate myths and lies. Go figure. Or internet myths, other social media. So there's a lot of them. I'm going to go through the top 10 that I think is probably going to be losing you money, you or your family and friends. Remember, watch this video not only for you. If you these 10 myths don't apply to you and everything is good with your particular benefit, that's awesome, but please go out there and share, like, and subscribe, and reach out to your neighbors and friends and relatives and say, hey, shouldn't you be getting some extra money? That's the entire intent of this channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third business social security office in the country, and now in my semi-retirement, I'm helping you make sure you're receiving all the benefits you earned and to make sure the politicians don't cut it in the future. That second mission of mine is being made more difficult every day, but I am going to keep at it with your help. All right. So the first myth is about the annual earnings tests versus the monthly. So this is January. There's a lot of people that unfortunately made the wrong decision in October, November, December when they're looking for early retirement. People say, well, I wanted to apply for benefits in October or July or whatever the case may be, but I made over the annual earnings limit. The annual earnings limit for 2025 is $23,400. So people, the beginning of the year, mid part of the year, they say, hey, I guess I can't retire because I already made too much this year. Incorrect. That is incorrect. Social Security can go to a monthly earnings limit the first year, only the first year. So let's say you want to go ahead and start your benefits in July of this year. But you say, I guess I can't because I'm, going to make $60,000 this year. So I have to wait till next year. I'm going to lose those months of benefits. No. In July, as long as you stay under the monthly $1,950, then you can start your benefits starting July. It doesn't matter what you made before you started your Social Security benefits. So I always exaggerate for effect here. If you make $1 billion from January until June, it doesn't matter. Social Security doesn't care. They only care about when you start receiving your Social Security benefit. So as long as you're under the monthly limit, which is $1,950, how'd they come up with that? 23,400 divided by 12. So as long as you're under 1950, and that's for the rest of the year, 1950, all the way until December, then you can collect your benefits and nothing is withheld. And then the following year, then the regular annual earnings limit applies. Anything over the max, the limit, then Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 you go over. And the year you hit your full retirement age, those numbers pretty much triple. Like this year, it's $62,160. As long as you stay under that for the months you hit your full retirement age, you're good. Once you hit your full retirement age, then you can go back to making $1 billion a month again. Okay. All right. Number two, IEDS, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. A lot of people are missing that. So please reach out, share, like, and all that good stuff. It's basically people think that they can't file for benefits on their ex-spouse's benefits record until their ex-spouse starts collecting Social Security benefits. So there's a lot of people out there essentially twiddling their thumbs, waiting for their ex to file for benefits. And unfortunately, regular viewers to my channel know that a lot of people come in here and say, Ed, you told me about this. I went down to my local Social Security office and asked about it, and they said I couldn't do it. I had to wait until my ex filed. And so Social Security is giving out incorrect information on this too. Usually the people you talk at Social Security in the front windows are lower level customer service representatives, which are the hardest working. I have to admit, they're the hardest working and lowest paid, but they're not experts in the retirement disability. They're kind of generalists. So I always provide the reference on that, and I'll put the reference in the chat. So basically, regular spouse qualifications apply. Your benefit has to be less than half of that person's benefit amount. And one of the other things on the independently entitled divorce spouse is that you have to be divorced for 2 years. The final divorce has to be 2 years ago. So you do not have to wait for your prior spouse to file. As long as your ex-spouse is 62 years old, you have to file for benefits on your own record. You file for benefits on your own record. And if your ex is twice yours, then you can file for benefits on their record, regardless if they have filed for benefits or not. Okay. Third myth out there is this is so like the old Flintstone cartoon, the bad luck Schleprock or whatever his name was. That people like to be negative, and disability insurance benefits, DIB, it's called. People always say, you're always denied for disability the first time. Woe is me. No, that is 100% incorrect. I've taken hundreds of thousands of disability claims, and they're approved first time a lot of times. Sometimes they're denied the first time when they should have been approved, and approved when they perhaps. But I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't know about that. Anyway, but no, that is incorrect. And please, let's stop perpetuating that myth, because there's a lot of people out there that need disability. They have, mental disabilities, physical disabilities, and they hear that, why should I file? Because I'm just going to be denied, and I just can't handle that I can't handle the rejection right now. And because of that myth going out there, there's a lot of people losing help that really need that help. So let's stop that myth that everybody's denied the first time. I've done a few videos on the disability process, so it gives you insider tips, tricks, and secrets if you want to check that out. All right, another myth out there is that once you start your benefits, you're stuck, you're done, you can't do anything else. That is incorrect. You can stop your Social Security benefits. So if you're looking at early retirement here, 62, 63, and you say, hey, yeah, I'm going to stay under the annual earnings limit, and then someone offers you a job, making $1 billion, then you can stop your benefits. There's a couple of ways to do it. One is to withdraw your application. So within the first 12 months of your application, you can withdraw it. It's like it never happened. You have to pay back all that money that you received, because the application theoretically never happened, right? And then once you pay back all the money, then it's like it never happened. You're not filing for early retirement. It won't affect your benefits later or anything like that. So that's one way you can stop it. Another way is just to do a work report. So if you're 63, 64, and you get a job making substantially over the 23,400, and you can just call Social Security and say, yeah, I got a job, I'm going back to work, and they will put your benefits in suspense. You just won't get those checks. And then once you hit your full retirement age, they will recalculate it. They will unreduce. Anytime you take money from Social Security, for most programs, retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, anytime you take money early, they're reduced. But if you don't get those checks, they unreduce that reduction. So another thing is, a lot of people, they look at the wrong numbers for spouse benefits. So when you want to see if your spouse benefit is less than half of or more than half of yours, please do not look at the MBA, the monthly benefit amount. I'm giving you some kind of inside scoop here with the acronyms. So too many acronyms. Don't look at your check amount, because your benefit might be reduced because you filed early. Your spouse's benefit might be reduced because they filed early. So that's not the number that Social Security looks at to see if you're entitled to spouse benefits, current spouse, divorced spouse. They look at the PIA, the primary insurance amount. So that's the amount you would have received if you waited until your full retirement age, 66 and 8 months or 67 or whatever the case may be. Those are the numbers that they look at. So if you don't know those numbers, call Social Security. I know I just did a video a couple of days ago about the service of Social Security, and I argue that is a strategy by politicians to try to destroy Social Security, is destroy customer service, which they are doing a phenomenal job of doing that. But anyway, call Social Security with, if your current spouse, and say, hey, can I get any money from this person? And they'll check the primary insurance amount and see if there's anything eligible for you there. All right, number 6, DIB after fraud, disability insurance benefits after full retirement age. They don't exist. They do not exist. There is no disability after your full retirement age. So there's a lot of people out there on disability at, 67, 77, 87, or whatever the case may be. They think they're still on disability. No, your disability stops when you reach your full retirement age. So once you hit your full retirement age, your disability essentially turns into retirement. Most people don't know the difference. That's why people think they're still on disability, because the check stays the same, direct deposit date stays the same, and everything. It's just a bureaucratic thing. They start taking your Social Security disability out of the retirement trust fund instead of the disability trust fund. But the importance of that is, you're no longer limited to the amount you can make. You're on full retirement age benefits. So there's no more limits to how much you make. So I give people all the time 77, and a friend wants to have me help out at the store, or work at the bait and tackle shop or something like that. But I'm on disability, so I don't want to mess up my disability. No, go for it. If you want to do it, because you're no longer on disability. You're on full retirement age, and Social Security doesn't care how much you make. And there's no more of those continuing disability reviews anymore. So you're completely free. Okay. Number 7, Medicare is mandatory. That is incorrect. Medicare is not mandatory because there's exceptions. Nothing mandatory in life. But anyway, death and taxes, I guess. But it's mandatory not all the time if you're currently receiving health insurance from work, either your work or your spouse's work. So there's a lot of people that sign up for Medicare at 65 because they hear it's mandatory. No, not if you have other health insurance from work. Credible coverage. What is that credible coverage? Current work, years of your spouse's, and that group health plan has to have 20 or more employees. And obviously, if you're happy with it, sometimes your employer makes you sign up for Part B, but that's not Medicare or Social Security making. I guess that's your employer. So you don't have to sign up for Medicare if you are 65. If you're receiving your monthly benefits and you turn 65, then Medicare Part A is mandatory. And there's an exception there. If you have to pay for Part A, which most people don't, then you don't have to sign up for it. But most people, Medicare A is mandatory once you hit 65, but it's zero premium. So, hey, if you need help with Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, Part D plans, make sure you reach out to my partners at Chapter Medicare. I looked for a place that would help you all out, and Chapter Medicare knocked it out of the park. They've got excellent customer service. They look at every single plan in your area, and their help is always 100% free. Give them a call, and they'll see if they can help you out, and tell them Dr. Ed said hi. There's that. But the Part B is not. So, and that's the one that costs you money, the $185. So you can refuse Part B, and then when you stop working, your spouse stops working at 70, 80, 85, whatever the case may be, then you go ahead and sign up for Part B, and there's no penalties whatsoever. And you can reach out to my partners at Chapter, and if you're turning 65 this year, it's 11,000 people every single day are turning 65. It's humongous. So they can help you with Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, Part D. I always recommend Medicare supplements. Check those out first. Medicare supplement Plan N, Plan G. And then if it's not right for you, then check out Medicare Advantage. But always start your evaluation process with Medicare supplements. All right, high 3, high 10, high 35. A lot of people say, well, I work more than I used to get this all the time. People come into retirement. I've got a coworker and I make more than him. How come he makes a higher retirement than I do? How come he gets a larger check? And I work right next to him, and we work the same amount. It's because your benefit amount is not determined by your high 3 years or your last 3 years or your high 5 years or your 10 years or whatever the case may be. Your Social Security benefit amount is based on your high 35 years of earnings. And this is also important because when you check your earnings record, this is the most important thing to make sure you're getting the correct benefit from Social Security, is that your earnings record is correct. How do you check that? You go into ssa.gov, you set up an account, and you check your earnings record and make sure it looks good. Make sure Social Security records are correct. And what people do is they only check the last 3 or 5 or 7, 7 years or whatever. And they think, oh, the previous time I worked in the 80s and 90s, it doesn't really matter. No, it matters. The Social Security looks at your high 35 years of earnings. So it's important that you check all of them. All right. Next, number 9 is Social Security benefits are tax-free. President-elect Trump is talking about getting rid of taxes on Social Security benefits, which I agree with. I don't think Social Security taxes should have ever been, or Social Security should have ever been taxed, because we're already taxed on it once anyway. But not sure if that happens. That will happen, but as of right now, about 40% of people don't pay taxes on Social Security benefits, but the other 50 to 60% do. That is, if they have other income. If your only source of income is Social Security, then you don't pay taxes on Social Security. If you have other sources of income, 401s or other income or whatever the case, capital gains, then you just might pay taxes on Social Security. You need to talk to your tax professional about that. So, but if President-elect Trump passes that, then great, awesome. But That's also billions of dollars that is going to be lost in the Social Security Trust Fund, which will deplete it sooner and therefore cause cuts sooner. And that's number 10, is that Social Security is bankrupt. No, that is another myth that kind of builds hate and discontent and kind of throwing up our hands. Social Security Trust Fund is being depleted. The trust fund was set aside extra savings for baby boomers. The baby boomers, 11,000 every single day are turning 65, filing for retirement, and that trust fund is being depleted. It's being depleted sooner than everybody thought, but Social Security will be around as long as people continue to work and pay into FICA. The issue going forward now is we've got an alert here that they're trying to privatize Social Security and give that money to Wall Street, and change it from what it's been since 1935. So that's my other mission in life, is to make sure that doesn't happen. So make sure you subscribe and like and join the channel and all that kind of good stuff.